Hi, wow, welcome. You know me, Dr. Kat from the live stream chats with Dr. Kat. I can't wait till we're doing live streams next season. This is the first season for Your Best You. Welcome. Thanks for coming here today. You know, as I said in the earlier show, I like to stream everything together. We're working with the chakras. Remember? Red, orange, yellow. Then we go up to our heart, which was where we were last week in green, and now this week we're in blue. Blue, blue, blue. We always think of blue. Blue can be depression, blue can be oceans, blue can be anything you want it to be. When I think of blue, I think of the ocean. I always think of the ocean and the skies and the nature, and you see it in the beginning of the show. But how do we tap into that? We've talked about yoga, we've talked about Reiki, we've talked about some different things, and last week I had Larry Mangiello come on, and he talked about some of the journeys that he took when he was recovering from a stroke and had to spend 40 days and 40 nights on his back looking up at the ceiling. So my Dawn Lombardi, who is my director for that show, she's here today with me because she was watching the show, and she came out and she said, wow, that's intense to hear what happens when you go through something like that. It's like, and then Dawn said, every day I get up, I think, wow, this is a blessing to be here. We know these things. We say them over and over and over again, and yet there's these triggers. They just keep coming up, and they don't stop. And so I talked about how we can find and tap into our fifth chakra right here, which is our truth, our power to speak our truth. And last show we talked about some of the ethical questions that we have when we are talking about truth. Because sometimes you don't want to speak the truth right then because it's not really appropriate, it's not kind, and it's really not the most beautiful, loving, kind thing to do, period. Period. Yeah. So we have to navigate that. Yeah. And every time truth has a season, as I said. Some truths at some seasons aren't truth. Like I said, with the telescope show, for 50 years we've been told, there's no alien connections. There's nothing that happened at Roswell. There's nothing, nothing, nothing. And now all of a sudden, hey, guess what, guys? We have been telling you the truth for the past 50 years, but now we're going to unload it on you. And then they wonder why people are storming Area 51. Okay, so truth is a very, very sensitive thing. And I, as a doctor of medical humanities, am very fascinated with truth because when I had my cancer and tried to share my truth with my community and my doctors, I was told I was crazy. I was told what I was doing was not real. And I was very much ostracized in my community. That inspired me to really continue with medical humanities because in medical humanities, it's about the medical narrative. It's your story. When you're having something that's going on with your body, and you're saying to the doctor, this is what I feel, and you're being told, no, that's not what you feel. That's not your truth. Or here's a pill to obliterate that truth for you. Okay? So I've challenged Dawn a little bit because I caught her off guard, just a wee bit, but I know Dawn is an adept painter. And I said to her, you know, Dawn, you go into the different senior centers and teach painting where people get to paint, and we've had even, what was the name of the older woman we had on the show?
Eleanor.
Eleanor, God bless Eleanor. I loved Eleanor. How old was Eleanor? 100 and...
She'll be 102 this November 26th.
Hi, Eleanor. I don't know. I hope you see 24th. The show. But I was so taken because I had just met Dawn. And then I'm like, wow, this is a really cool lady. Like, she takes her private time and goes around and she's in these... And, you know, I think about what would it be like to be sitting in a nursing home or an old folks home. And a lot of times there's nobody ever comes to see you. But then this bright lady comes in with her paint and her boards, and you're sitting there, I can't paint, I don't know how to paint, I'm not. But then Dawn says, oh yeah, you can do it. So like with Larry, when he thought he wasn't going to make it, and even his own self-talk and mind was saying, you're not going to make it, you know. The people around were saying, Larry, you can do this.
Well, in Eleanor's case, she already was a fantastic painter.
Well,
and didn't need any therapy, but yes.
well, it's not so much that the painting is being taught. For more of what I look at it is, and I'm not, you know, an artist in the sense of your level, but I've always used drawing as a method of expression. So the throat chakra is about our ability to speak our truth.
Yeah, like I sing, and so I find that when I am trying to really express my truth, the things that I'm singing, the types of songs I'm singing, are a lot of times where I'm releasing and feeling where my, you know, I'm up leveling, my consciousness is getting higher, is when I release through singing, you know, and acting, releasing my truth through that.
Bree Zuck visiting us today. She pops in every once in a while, little sprite spirit. Yeah, exactly, and singing. Again, that's a vocalization. But I feel that with art and with drawing specifically, painting, anything where you're getting into this other medium where you're not using your throat to articulate.
Yes. You know what's really popular too? I don't really enjoy them, but a lot of people that think that they're not good at art or they just need to kill time. You know the coloring books that are very in now?
Yeah.
Those,
Yes, I love those.
Yeah. So you don't have to be old, young, or whatever. But a
Yeah.
lot of people are stuck in a bed or they, you know, can't heal properly. They like to color. So.
Those feel like, to me, that's the color therapy. I like to unleash the inner soul.
Yes.
Okay? So with the color therapy and those books, they got the lines. And it's all about
Yeah,
staying
you have
in
to
the
stay in the
lines.
line and color
And I'm
good.
like, you know, it's time to break out of the lines, you know. And how does one self-express, but feel free to be able to take a board and not go, well, I can only paint if I've been trained, or I can't paint a straight line. And I've heard you say on your show, you prefer to have people, like we had Kochi, you prefer to have people who aren't painters.
Yes. Yes. I think that's with anything, really. I mean, people are always looking for new things. I'm supposed to go tubing. I'm not tubing, no, thank you. I talk to too many people about, I think it's dangerous. You know, I don't want to go.
Oh, tubing.
Tubing, I don't want to go.
I don't want
I'm
to go.
afraid.
It can be
Tubing, right?
dangerous.
Yeah.
I'm not
With my
interested
kids,
in
yeah.
tubing.
But, you know,
No.
try something new. You know, it's something for everybody.
Right, but with painting or drawing or anything like that, when you see how people who haven't done it before respond, what happens?
One of the greatest ways to see what happens with the art is you give it to a toddler.
Yeah.
Make sure it's non-toxic. But I mean, that's when you realize, like, wow, this is so powerful.
So what do you think happens to us as adults in the evolutionary and transformative process that we lose that childlike, playful, let loose, draw like a child?
Yeah, well, and it ends up sometimes coming back, you know, at the end of the painter's career. They'll get really tight, they'll get very realistic, and then they'll go back
Right.
to the childhood years. It's sort of like rebirth and,
Right.
you know?
Right. Well, even Georgia did it. I mean, everyone seems to change and pull out that more primitive, I guess, primitive art.
Yeah, everybody's changing. I'm
Yeah.
changing my style, like right now.
Right.
Yep.
But it's such a self-expression without, now, you know, I'm a writer, so I'm all about, you know, cutting the words and getting the words and making the right words. But then I watch you, I'm going to get this color and mix this with this. And get this. And then that's going to hit that right there, and it's going to make a shadow.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. Like, I have to find words to articulate that when I'm writing a story to set setting, but you're using color and form, no words, to make that happen on a page. Or it'll allow someone who may have, like what happened with Larry, for example, when you have a stroke, you lose your ability to speak.
Yes.
Yeah, but all this stuff is still inside of us.
I'm sure he did a lot of, I don't know if he painted, but I'm sure one of his therapists did that with him.
I'm sure
I
there
bet
was
they
a
did.
lot of artwork, and I know that you don't tout yourself as the art therapist, but I'm not speaking specifically of a certified art therapist.
Well, that's why, like preschool, nursery school, a lot of their curriculum is built around art. Art, because kids are 3 and 4, and what are they going to do, you know?
Right.
They can't really do math at that age, you know, a little bit, but it's based around a lot of art, a lot of clay, a lot of
Yeah.
learning how to play together, sharing crayons. So it's kind of like the primitive beginning of, you know, childhood.
Well, you know, I noticed, and you know, with all the young viewers, I hope there's a whole bunch of you out there too. I've noticed that when I work with all of my artwork here, we're going primitive with that. Do you notice how we have drawings they encourage on Instagram, putting hearts and all these really primitive art emoji type symbols to speak our language? So no one has to be, what would I say? Even when I say this about writing, keep journals. You don't have to be an author and a public.
I keep so many
published
journals,
person
yeah.
to keep journals. So how do we get what's in here and in here,
They're your power, your
This
inner
is
power,
the
your inner
God we
goddess,
talked about it
or
in the
God,
third
or
show.
not your
That's your-
God.
right,
God.
this
You
is
know, your
your-
inner power that you work with, your light.
your
light,
solar power.
yeah, your solar power
This
that
is
hopefully you're using for the intention of good and
solar
love.
plexus, right?
Yeah.
And then you have your heart chakra, but then you have your head back in here.
where the
like-
ego lives.
Right, like if someone spends way too much time doing meditation, I know, because Dawn, you've been wanting to learn about different things. If you spend way too much time doing meditation, where are you?
Nowhere.
Exactly. You can't land it and
Alone.
ground it. You can't land it and
Yeah.
ground it. You can't make anything happen
Right.
out of it
We have to
because it's
connect.
just air. So, you know, really, I find that whenever someone's getting something that's happening in here and up here, how do we ground it? Well, we can speak it because you want to speak your truth. I'm not going to sit in the back of the bus anymore. Okay. Well, I'm sure there were people who were, no, you know, we know we're not beautiful, always human beings. People were hung, people were killed, people were destroyed by saying, I'm not going to sit in the back of the bus. Until one time, somebody said, I'm not going to sit in the back of the bus, and everybody said, yeah, why are we going to make her sit in the back of the bus? Don't you think we should agree with her? And maybe there was a collective, a small collective. And then that collective, because everything's energy.
Well, you need to rally too, so you need people behind you. It's very
Right, but
hard
then
to stand
rallies
up when
can
you're
go
alone.
up and
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Right, you know, it's the staying power. So even with something like the Me Too movement, which was a huge rally of a vocalization of the divine feminine, saying, wait a second, you know, you can't grope me
Yeah.
because I'm working in the same building with you, okay? And you can't keep paying me less than men because we've been at this for 50 years. Remember, I'm 65. We've been at this for 50 years and we're still not getting paid. Now, do you think that instantaneously our society has said, hey, yeah, these women are right? Absolutely not. It's a wave.
But you can't let that pile up inside you either
No,
because it burns your
definitely not.
energy. It's like
Definitely
you got to
not.
move on and say, you know what, I just am going to be.
Forgive but make change. Forgive,
Yeah.
and where women I think are coming together more now than before, and they're supporting each other and uplifting. And energy words have intention, as we're speaking about the third chakra. And the intention and words you say to another woman are going, whether you're a man or a woman speaking it to another woman, or person being are going to affect that person to a degree. So
Exactly.
what you say with intent is really important.
Exactly. And I've been just noticing that there's a shift in generational. You and I have talked about it too. Our generation of women, cluck, cluck, hello. You know, and the younger generation of women are becoming more goddess-oriented.
Supporting each other, and that collective
Absolutely.
comes together with that energy.
Absolutely.
So that's how, I guess, what you're wondering, how do we get those people behind this cause?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole new like way of being, and for me, I have really like wanted to enforce, if I could as much, that concept of women supporting women for, I don't know, decades, you know, and yet, you know, even when we say that we want to do that, there's an old paradigm. And there's an old programming, and you'll see it, and you'll go, wow, I can't believe that I just heard that from that person, when I know that that's not really
Aligning
so, yeah,
with
it's
their truth.
reconciling and wrangling with truth. And definitely, you know, as the older, well, you're a lot younger than
Not
me.
really. I'm 58, don't forget.
Okay, well, it's still, that's still, you know, it's almost like a generation, right?
It's definitely
10
changing.
to 7 years, they say something like that. They always say to, like, if you date someone who's 12 years older or 12 years younger, they're in another generational phase.
Oh, that could be a great thing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Like, they might have gotten, like, when I was a little girl, we used to get the milkman who would deliver the milk bottles
Oh my gosh.
to our door, and we had a tin outside.
Yeah. I didn't have that, but we were close. Close.
Yeah, and we had 3 channels on the TV, all black and white. That was it. And I remember
Times
Chubby
changed.
Checkers, come on, baby, let's
Do the twist.
And I'll never
Oh,
forget
Kat.
my father bringing
You
that
can't be that
record
old.
home. I am.
God.
I am, I
The
know.
power
but
of
I'm all
healing.
alternative, you
There
know.
we
So,
go.
and I'm a stage 3 infiltrating breast cancer survivor from 2007 who was
Wow.
supposed
Something's
to be
working.
dead. So that's, you know, I always say that's the spirit of that which is greater than me in control, okay? But yeah, the power to speak your truth and draw it. So, you know, I have this little painting right here. I want to show this up close because when I started working with Dawn on the Crack of Dawn show, she had a guest and they painted this, and I had just come through a brutal fire, not just coming through the cancer journey, but I came through the fire.
I remember.
I lost everything. I lost all my clothes. I lost any mementos from my parents or any family things that I had saved from the journey that I had already lost quite a bit from already. And then this door came in. It's a red door. And there's just something about red doors. Like you walk through it and you know there's something on the other side, right?
Sometimes, yes. It's
So
very.
there's something on the other side. So they don't give me ears right now because if I had ears, I'd be saying to my director, how much time do I have? And they'd be saying it in my ear. But I'm sure I have about 10 minutes left. So Dawn, you know, I talked with you about this silly little drawing that I made because I'm not an artist. But basically all I'm just looking for is the splats of color. We don't really need to do the human form. I just want to be able to really get a picture of the splats on a board where we're not putting it on a pillow. So the colors are red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and then indigo and violet.
Yep.
Well, we don't have all the colors, so we can work with what we have. Like we have red, orange, and green, and blue. This would be a violet, and that would be an indigo. Green. So this would just be a simple little, so you'd start at the base. I would make even a star or heart. Okay? I'm not good. You can see how.
I'm going to do that
my
guy. I'm
drawings
going to
are.
do the Buddha guy. Or
Do
is it
what,
called
yeah,
the Buddha?
You can do a form of a person who's sitting, and the base of the body is where red is, and we've talked about that intensity of
Upside
staying
down
grounded.
here.
I had Bree during the first show. If you go to the first show, you can take a look at it. She did a whole skit on grounding and the feet. We worked with the feet. So go back and review that show. In the second show, we went up to the second chakra, and again, I had Bree do, because getting grounded are the first 2 chakra elements. You're no earthly good if you're up in your head, meditating, but you're not able to ground it into an active, something that helps to change. Thought by itself needs action. You could say to somebody, I love you, or you could show them. And even in writing, we're told, don't tell, show. Don't narrate what the character is going to do, but show what the character is going to do. Beautiful.
Yeah.
So here we go. We have red on the bottom, and then orange comes to the sacrum area. And we talked about, you know, the chalice and that, keeping that really sacred. But, you know, I always think of orange and yellow in terms of McDonald's. think of how the programming controls your mind to get you to come and buy that food, okay? But that food isn't a positive, good food to be eating at a regular basis. I love this. This is beautiful.
They have a parfait at McDonald's now, though.
And what is that?
Well, might have jet fuel engine in it, but I don't think so. I think it's all healthy. They're trying to do the healthy thing, yeah, so
that's
that people will
nice.
drive through.
Well, thank you for making our food healthy. We certainly do appreciate it.
Once in a while. And
Every once
Chick-fil-A
in-
has a good one, too.
You know, so, you know, again, it's about balancing this concept of truth. So you know me, I talk about, and I'm very vocal about our food. You know, if we're not eating organic food, we're eating pesticides, herbicides, and genetically modified organisms. Now that's fine, and it may be part of the evolution of human beings. In other words, we're already genetically modifying ourselves, so to think that the aliens aren't experimenting on us and using us as genetic modifications is kind of funny because we do it every day.
Yeah.
We've been doing it since we've started doing anything with food, etc. You know, so we go into third world countries and we say we want to help them because they need a drought-resistant seed, except we don't realize what the drought-resistant seed is going to do in terms of causing cancer. That's, you know, irreparable, et cetera, but we fed you. So, you know, what is truth? It's slippery. When is it relative? When are we doing good? How much good can we do when we're doing something? When do we know that we need to stop? Red, orange, yellow. Oh, I'm loving this.
So the red and the yellow go on the bottom, and then it goes all the way up and ends in purple?
Yeah, it's a beautiful Roy G.
She's going to add some. You can't see it.
I just love it.
It's not
because
working.
You have to.
I want you to feel free to like pull out crayons and pull out
Bang it on that a few times. It's
paper
crazy.
and just draw. Draw your heart out. Draw whatever you need to draw. Don't feel like you have to follow a rule book about drawing.
What's the most important color, the center of it all? Oh, the
I
green? You
always
think
say
green?
that green,
Green.
our heart, because
Green.
what we have to do is balance all of our thoughts with our feet through our heart.
And
So,
green is mixing yellow and blue,
I
which
have
is
a
hot and
thought.
cold.
I'm mad. I'm very mad. What am I going to do? Well,
Suppose it's,
my heart is saying,
blue
well,
on the top.
Kathleen, you want to be kind,
Perfect. Keep that.
but you might want to
Keep
make
dying.
change. We could be
throw Chakra.
activists. You can go ahead and talk, and you can bring people be aware instead of just, you know, how some people are when they're mad. They'll slam a door or run out of a room and huff and puff and blow the house down. Right?
Yes.
Okay. So that's not a
Therapeutic.
That's not a fully articulated voice chakra, let's say that. So not being able to connect what's going on in your head through your heart and ground it in the way that you're acting and treating one another, it's vital as human beings. We really do need to learn how to do that. And we look at kids and we say, we need to teach them, but then we look at ourselves. No, really.
It's so hard, though, because Joanne just left for Ireland, and she left me all of her groceries.
And what does
There
that
was a
mean?
lot of salad. I'm just saying. Great, Joanne. I mean, I don't like kids. I don't know about
Salad.
the
What
salad.
is
Tons of
salad?
salad. But she did put in, what did you put in there, Joanne? Oh, something organic. I know. Cage-free eggs.
Okay.
Nothing
but-
against that. But how do you know the chicken isn't in a cage?
Well,
Like, how do you
because-
know?
Yeah, I think some of that's regulated and some of it's not regulated. There's a lot of
I know. I hate
trust.
to be so negative. 'Cause
No,
we're just
yeah, I
working
know.
on
It's
positive.
Actually, no,
No,
it's
it's
actually
actually
very.
awful.
We can't. We're in a
Whoops.
dark moon right now, right?
Oh, it's the dark moon tonight. That must be it for me.
We're in a dark moon. We can't have light without the dark, and you can't have dark without the light. It's the balance of the Goldilocks
That's why my
zone.
name's Dawn.
It's the
Right?
balance of the Goldilocks zone. So we have to find that balance. And yeah, because we're human, we're not going to do it perfect. What's perfect anyway? There's no
Keith Haring.
perfect. You're perfect. So here we are. We've got our. I love you for doing this for me, babe. What a sweetheart. You know, I direct her show.
Oh,
And I
we're the
pulled her,
best
I pulled her, you
team.
know. But I want you to be able to be loose and goose and have fun with it.
Which is why I'm
Because-
not doing yoga, because I would never.
And then next show we'll have Bree and we'll do some other things here. I'm glad that you were able to make it. She came through the storm. Lord have mercy. We're checking out. We love you.
Oh, it was scary in that story. It
Yeah.
always rains when we're
It's
here.
crazy.
It does.
Be
It
good.
always rains.
See you next time.
All right, I'm gonna